The ancient sea carves pathways where life can travel, hide, and return. The Red Sea does not reveal itself all at once. It offers one living detail at a time. The sea feeds even the quietest forms, carrying life through invisible currents. The sea teaches movement through rhythm, and the Red Sea Reef answers with life. Beneath the surface of this ancient ocean, the Red Sea begins to reveal a hidden world. In the sea, awareness moves faster than sound, passing through a school like light. Around a single coral tower, the sea gathers shelter, food, movement, and risk. The sea feeds even the quietest forms, carrying life through invisible currents. Even in the brightest hour, the Red Sea keeps many of its lives unseen. Every ray of light touches an ocean realm shaped by time, heat, salt, and life. Near the reef, the sea is never still. Every surface becomes a place to live. In the sea, awareness moves faster than sound, passing through a school like light. The closer we look into this sea, the more worlds within worlds begin to appear. Here, the ocean has built a living kingdom from stone, sunlight, and patience. The Red Sea is not empty water. It is an ancient ocean filled with quiet movement. Each hidden opening in this sea is a doorway to another small life. The journey begins at the reef, but the Red Sea still holds far more than the eye can see. Beyond the reef, the sea opens into a silence older than memory. The ancient sea carves pathways where life can travel, hide, and return. The Red Sea does not reveal itself all at once. It offers one living detail at a time. The sea feeds even the quietest forms, carrying life through invisible currents. The sea teaches movement through rhythm, and the Red Sea Reef answers with life. Beneath the surface of this ancient ocean, the Red Sea begins to reveal a hidden world. In the sea, awareness moves faster than sound, passing through a school like light. Around a single coral tower, the sea gathers shelter, food, movement, and risk. The sea feeds even the quietest forms, carrying life through invisible currents. Even in the brightest hour, the Red Sea keeps many of its lives unseen. Every ray of light touches an ocean realm shaped by time, heat, salt, and life. Near the reef, the sea is never still. Every surface becomes a place to live. In the sea, awareness moves faster than sound, passing through a school like light. The closer we look into this sea, the more worlds within worlds begin to appear. Here, the ocean has built a living kingdom from stone, sunlight, and patience. The Red Sea is not empty water. It is an ancient ocean filled with quiet movement. Each hidden opening in this sea is a doorway to another small life. The journey begins at the reef, but the Red Sea still holds far more than the eye can see. Beyond the reef, the sea opens into a silence older than memory. In this ocean, even the smallest motion carries the memory of life. Each hidden opening in this sea is a doorway to another small life. Around a single coral tower, the sea gathers shelter, food, movement, and risk. As the light changes, the ancient Red Sea begins to show a different face. Deeper below the surface, the seal's hidden life becomes harder to see, but impossible to ignore. The ocean floor appears still, yet beneath its calm surface, life is already awake. This ancient ocean hides its wonders in layers of color, shadow, and silence. This is the doorway into the Red Sea's ancient hidden kingdom. Deeper below the surface, the seal's hidden life becomes harder to see, but impossible to ignore. At the edge of the reef, the ocean breathes through thousands of tiny bodies. Above, the sun burns bright. Below, the ocean keeps its hidden life protected. Every crack in this ocean reef may shelter a life unseen by the passing eye. Ahead, the sea will open into a hidden kingdom where every color shelters life. In the ancient ocean, survival often begins with knowing where to hide. The first gate of the Red Sea is open. Beyond it, hidden life is. The reef is only the beginning. Beyond it, the ocean falls into deeper secrets. Here, the ancient ocean divides the world between safety, hunger, and the unknown. The ocean current writes invisible paths through this living architecture. From a distance, the ocean looks peaceful. Up close, it is alive in every direction. Some forms in this ocean grow slowly, carrying the marks of decades beneath the waves. The Red Sea is an ocean of thresholds, where light fades and mystery begins. Color is not decoration in this ocean. It is language, warning, disguise, and attraction. Across this ancient ocean floor, every open space leads back to shelter. The smallest creatures in this ocean help build one of Earth's most complex worlds. When the ocean gathers life into one motion, the reef seems to breathe. The ancient ocean hides many of its stories where sunlight can barely reach. These living structures turn the ocean into a maze of refuge and opportunity. In the ocean's sheltered corners, hidden life waits for the right moment to move. The farther we look into this ocean, the more ancient and alive it becomes. Some lives in this ocean are measured not by distance, but by the safety of a single crack. The reef is the memory of the ocean, built slowly by countless living hands. From above, it is only water. From below, the ocean becomes a universe. The current feeds the reef, and the reef gives the ocean a place for life to gather. Along these walls, the ancient ocean rises like a living cliff. In this ocean, danger and shelter can exist within the same delicate form. Every passage through the reef leads deeper into the ocean's hidden design. Life in this ocean is arranged between the brightness above and the shadows below. The ocean teaches movement through rhythm, and the reef answers with life. In this sea, a shadow is enough to make hidden life vanish. The reef reaches into the sea, and the sea answers with light and food. Changing color, changing shape, some creatures turn the Red Sea into a living illusion. Every meter of this seafloor contains a hidden story waiting in silence. The sea can hide a body beneath almost nothing. Beyond the first gate, the Red Sea opens into a kingdom built entirely by life. Inside the smallest cracks of the Red Sea, hidden life begins to appear. Sometimes the Red Sea reveals only evidence, not the life itself. What appears solid is alive, fragile, and constantly changing beneath the sea.
Some creatures in this sea survive by becoming almost invisible.
In this sea, every branch of coral becomes shelter for hundreds of fragile lives. But beyond these hidden chambers, the Red Sea begins to move with greater force. The Red Sea teaches caution to even the smallest creatures. The coral kingdom of the Red Sea is not silent. It is alive with constant motion. The Red Sea sand is not empty. It is a thin veil over secret lives. The smallest spaces in the reef can mean the difference between life and danger. Inside the reef, the Red Sea builds homes above, below, and between. Even before night, the hidden corners of the Red Sea already belong to secret lives. The hidden life has shown how the Red Sea protects the small. Now the moving sea will reveal the balance of survival. Layer by layer, the sea has shaped this reef into a living city. Spines, shells, shadows, and cracks all become tools for survival in this sea.
The smallest defenders in the Red Sea guard doors no larger than a shell.
In this sea, stillness can be the strongest form of protection. Hidden life in this sea is not rare. It is simply easy to miss. The Red Sea builds diversity, not with one shape, but with thousands. The sea current connects every coral, every fish, and every hidden mouth. Every cave in the Red Sea reef may hold a life waiting beyond the light. Across the sand, the Red Sea leaves clues of lives that move unseen. Beneath the visible reef, the Red Sea holds another reef of secrets. Soft corals move with the sea, turning the current into a slow underwater dance. In one small corner of the Red Sea, many lives can share the same shelter. Behind the bright reef face, the Red Sea keeps quieter chambers of life. Some hidden lives are so delicate that the sea itself nearly erases them. The sea can hide a body beneath almost nothing. To understand this sea, we must look below the obvious beauty. A single coral patch is only one room in the vast palace of the Red Sea. Here, hidden service becomes survival, and the sea rewards patience. Among the corals, color becomes a way to find food, avoid danger, and belong. The deeper the crevice, the more the Red Sea hides from view. The builders of this sea are small, but together they create a world. The Coral Kingdom is not only shelter, it is a place of exchange. In the Red Sea, a predator can look exactly like the reef itself. Above the reef, the sea gathers movement into living clouds. Camouflage turns the seafloor into both a hiding place and a hunting ground. Small armor, slow steps, and perfect disguise help life cross the Red Sea floor. The Coral Kingdom stretches across the seafloor, connected by hidden paths of sand and current. The reef forms chambers large enough for entire communities to gather. Even the open sand between corals belongs to the rhythm of the sea. Between the coral walls, the sea creates roads for life to move safely. Inside the tunnel, the Red Sea becomes a hidden world within the reef. Some hidden lives wait in darkness, watching the sea from a single opening. Some corals in this sea grow like maps of time, marked by years of quiet survival. The higher the coral climbs, the more the sea fills it with life. Every surface in the Red Sea can become a feeding ground, a shelter, or a hiding place. Even in the shadows of the Red Sea, strange partnerships quietly continue. At the edge of the Coral Kingdom, the sea begins to change again. For small creatures, the reef is a maze built by the sea for survival. Near the crest, sunlight feeds the reef, and the Red Sea becomes dazzling. In the Coral Kingdom, danger and protection often grow side by side. Shade becomes shelter in the Red Sea, and every ledge can hide a life. A single hole in the Red Sea reef can become an entire home. This is the Coral Kingdom at its brightest, a living crown beneath the sea. The Red Sea reveals its secret lives only for a moment, then hides them again. But beneath the colors of the Red Sea, even smaller hidden lives are waiting to be found. The reef changes with every few meters of sea, revealing new colors and new forms. Even feeding becomes part of the reef's rhythm, shaping the sea one bite at a time. Even the sand itself can open and release life into the sea. The Coral Kingdom has shown its beauty. Now the Red Sea will reveal the lives hidden within its cracks. Inside the coral thicket, the sea becomes a maze only small bodies can enter. The hidden life of the Red Sea often begins below the surface of the sand. In this sea, intelligence can wear the color of stone. The Red Sea hides its most delicate life in places protected from the open water. The Red Sea gives some creatures not only shelter, but a way to disappear. Here, the reef rises like a living wall built by the sea itself. A borrowed shell becomes a moving fortress across the Red Sea sand. The current brings food, and the Coral Kingdom reaches into the sea to receive it. What looks like dust in the sea can become nourishment for an entire reef. On the seafloor, slow creatures quietly recycle the reef's forgotten fragments. The Red Sea Reef is crowded, yet every creature finds its own place. Some lives remain hidden beneath stones, touching the sea without fully leaving shelter. The Red Sea Reef is full of doors that open and close in silence. Beyond one coral garden, the sea opens into another, and the kingdom continues.
Beauty in the Red Sea can also carry warning.
Near the seafloor, smaller lives keep close to the border between sand and stone. In the shadows, the sea hides forms both graceful and dangerous. The higher the reef rises, the more life gathers in the moving seawater.
Transparency is another disguise, making life shimmer like the sea itself. A single coral island can become an entire world within the sea.
Hidden chambers inside the reef make the sea safer for the smallest lives. Where light grows weak, the Red Sea shelters colors the open reef rarely sees. The current organizes the sea, guiding food, movement, and survival.
Some of the sea's strangest beauty moves only a few centimeters at a time.
Some fish travel the reef like a herd across an underwater landscape.
In the Red Sea, hidden life can be smaller than a finger and richer than a jewel. The best disguise in this sea is to become part of the reef's shape. In this sea, even care and cleaning become part of the reef's hidden order. The coral kingdom is held together by countless small exchanges. Where the sea moves gently, small lives hold on and become almost impossible to see. On the Red Sea floor, partnership can turn a fragile burrow into a safer home. Not all life here is bright coral. The sea also shelters quiet forms that filter and clean. One digs, one watches, and together they read the sea for danger. The reef is architecture, and the sea fills every passage with motion. Under the coral roof, the Red Sea keeps another layer of hidden life. Tiny filters open into the sea, gathering food from water that never stops moving. Light returns, and the coral kingdom expands again across the sea. Fast-moving schools carry energy from one part of the reef to another. The coral kingdom is beautiful, but the sea has built it with defenses. To live here, every creature must read the sea and respond instantly. Some coral shapes create quiet rooms where the sea becomes calmer. Across the reef plain, each coral island offers safety in the open sea. The reef gives the sea a place where small lives can vanish instantly.
When the coral kingdom awakens, the Red Sea seems to bloom with fish.
Some hidden lives do not chase food. They cast invisible nets into the sea. Not every creature in the Red Sea reveals its full form to the open water.
The best refuge in the Red Sea can be another living body. Even fierce creatures in this sea understand the value of retreat. The more closely we study the Red Sea, the more hidden lives begin to emerge from the reef. The hidden world of the Red Sea does not end at one crack. It continues deeper into the reef. Within a hole no wider than a finger, the sea can hide a fierce and intelligent hunter. Many hunters of the Red Sea begin as hidden faces inside the reef. In the Red Sea, even a nearly invisible thread can mean survival. Some hidden fish of the Red Sea look less like swimmers and more like pieces of the reef. In this sea, disguise can become armor, shelter, and identity at once. Some creatures in this sea survive by wearing the reef itself. Caution is one of the first instincts learned in the Red Sea. In the Red Sea, camouflage can be built one fragment at a time. Patience is the only way to see certain lives in this sea. The Red Sea allows some creatures to vanish by looking like everything around them. Hidden life in this sea is not only survival, it is also protection of the next generation. Partnership on the Red Sea floor can turn a fragile hole into a defended home. Some hidden lives of this sea move like living patterns across the reef. On the sand of the Red Sea, stillness becomes a form of concealment. Transparency lets some lives of the Red Sea become part of the water around them. A future reef community can begin as tiny dots beneath a coral ledge.
Some creatures of the Red Sea become invisible by becoming almost flat.
One works, one watches, and together they read the sea for danger. Some fish of the Red Sea choose the cave as their daylight shelter. To survive here, a body must sometimes move like the sea itself. The Red Sea is filled with small doors that open only when the water feels safe. The Red Sea can hide an entire body beneath a veil of sand. The Red Sea often hides one secret beneath another. Some hidden lives do not chase food. They cast invisible nets into the sea. Even the youngest hidden lives in this sea learn to disappear. Among the broken pieces of the reef, the Red Sea shelters its youngest hidden lives. Stillness inside the cave is part of the rhythm of this sea. A tiny tunnel in the Red Sea can hold one of the reef's most alert hunters.
In this sea, disappearance can happen faster than a heartbeat.
The Red Sea rewards those who can become lines, shadows, and stems. Even the softest shapes rising from the sand can belong to hidden life. The sand of the Red Sea can bloom with lives that vanish the moment danger approaches. Every small opening in the Red Sea reef suggests another hidden story. A simple hole in the Red Sea sand
can become a fortress for a watchful parent.
In this sea, some creatures survive by copying the movement of the reef.
One coral head can hold the sea in layers, buried, hidden, sheltered, and free. Inside the caves of the Red Sea, hidden life gathers where light weakens. Even in the shadows of this sea, life continues its quiet cycles. The Red Sea floor is a page written by creatures that rarely show themselves. The best disguise in the Red Sea is to become part of the coral's rhythm. Some hidden lives of the Red Sea are built for darkness, waiting where the reef turns inward. Some hunters of the Red Sea hide beneath the very floor of the sea. A life can cross the open seafloor for only seconds before returning to shelter. Even in hidden corners of the sea, cooperation keeps the reef alive. The deeper the crack, the more the Red Sea seems to multiply. Some of the rarest beauty in the Red Sea moves more slowly than the current. What shines above is only the surface of the Red Sea's hidden life. The closer we look at this sea, the more enormous the small world becomes. Rock caves beneath the reef protect lives that rarely enter the open sea. Some hidden lives in the Red Sea cling so quietly that the sea itself seems to hold them. By matching both shape and motion, life in this sea can almost erase itself. Inside the reef, the Red Sea feeds creatures that never need to chase. The smallest lives of the Red Sea gather where the water becomes calm.
Inside a cavity of the reef, the sea feeds another life in complete silence.
Many hidden lives of the Red Sea begin as a face at the edge of darkness. The Red Sea hides life not by removing it, but by blending it into rhythm. The sea gathers its smallest lives in pockets too quiet for larger eyes to notice. A single crack in the Red Sea can support an entire hidden community. The boundary between animal and sand becomes almost impossible to read. In this sea, transformation can be quieter than movement. The obvious beauty of the reef often hides the smaller drama taking place below. A moving shell can become one of the Red Sea's smallest hidden travelers. On the seafloor, many small lives overlap without disturbing each other. Some hidden creatures live by opening themselves to the sea and trusting their speed of retreat. In this sea, a single shadow can make a life disappear. Color, texture, and movement turn the Red Sea into a theater of illusion. Hidden life in this sea often survives by living upon other lives. One small shelter in the Red Sea can protect many species at once. The underside of the reef is another world in the Red Sea, hidden from bright water above. The hidden world of this sea reveals itself only to patient eyes. Hidden life in the Red Sea is not rare at all. It simply lives beneath attention.
From coral cracks to open sand, the Red Sea hides life in every texture. Where the reef meets the sand, another layer of the Red Sea begins. One coral head in the Red Sea can hold an entire vertical neighborhood of secret lives.
What appears simple in the Red Sea is often layered with lives too small to notice at first. Every meter of this sea holds another hidden door.
The Red Sea is never still. Even after calm, the current returns and reshapes life again.
Some predators hold their power in formation, waiting for the sea to bring opportunity.
The same current that tests the reef also feeds it.
When the Red Sea current grows stronger, every creature must choose where to move, where to hide, and where to feed. Beyond the hidden cracks, the Red Sea begins to move with greater force. In the Red Sea, even the current can divide, forcing life to choose a path in moving water.
When the sea begins to run, the school becomes a river of living silver.
The Red Sea arranges life by strength, size, hunger, and timing. In this sea, a school is more than a crowd. It is a single decision shared by thousands.
The school bends with the sea, then reforms before danger can find a weakness.
In open water, safety comes from moving together as one living shape.
A single rush through the sea can change the direction of hundreds. Together, they read the Red Sea faster than any single body could. Predators do not always attack. Sometimes their presence alone reshapes the sea. Hunters use the current as cover, rising from below where the school least expects them.
The Red Sea turns movement into defense, and the school becomes harder to break.
Around the pinnacle, the Red Sea turns fear into a spinning tower of life. Pressure turns scattered fish into one living shield.
The reef is the answer the Red Sea gives to danger. The hunters follow the current because the current gathers life.
From below, the balance of survival appears as a storm of light and shadow. Inside the reef, the sea becomes narrow, protected, and full of escape routes. Where many small fish gather, the hunters of the sea are never far away. Inside the living tower, every fish follows the sea, and the fish beside it. In the Red Sea, fear can turn thousands of lives into one shield. Where warm and cooler sea layers meet, even the shark appears to move through liquid glass. From below, survival in the sea looks like a storm passing across the sun. The Red Sea offers two choices at once: shelter in the reef or speed in open water. A single change in the sea can move an entire community at once. The reef protects the small by turning the sea into a maze. The Red Sea offers more than one escape, but every escape has its own risk. In this sea, safety can be only a few centimeters wide. Below the shark's path, the sand hides another hunter, moving by touch and patience.
A distant shark can change the shape of the sea before it comes close.
The reef protects the small, while the open sea tests the strong.
Even in powerful water, the reef creates quiet rooms for survival. The shark moves through the Red Sea like a law the reef understands. The ray searches the seafloor like a slow shadow, reading invisible signs. Not every hunter in the Red Sea moves quickly. Some wait with ancient patience. Even powerful hunters in the Red Sea must pause and depend on smaller lives. Balance in this sea is built across layers of depth, motion, and hunger. Below the moving schools, another hunter waits beneath the sand.
The same current that brings danger also brings food.
The same reef can be a hospital, a shelter, and a hunting ground. Some predators of the Red Sea gather in silence before they move. The ray does not chase through the sea. It searches with quiet precision. Some schools form not as a cloud, but as a living curtain across the sea. Every movement across the seafloor sends a signal through the reef. The reef feels every change in the water before the eye understands it. The current that exposes danger also carries food through the Red Sea.
The sea arranges life according to who can hold the current.
At the edge of the reef, the shark moves like the shadow of the sea itself.
A hunt can be a test of pressure long before it becomes a chase.
One sudden pass can turn feeding into escape. The strongest water creates the most valuable stillness. The coral reef receives the moving sea and breaks it into hiding places.
Balance in the Red Sea is not stillness, it is constant adjustment. To cross open seawater, even strong swimmers travel together. Their formation is a silent warning written in silver. Beyond the coral, the open sea holds hunters built for patience and speed. Not all movement in the Red Sea happens above the sand.
A shadow crossing the reef can speak louder than a strike.
Their formation is a warning written across the blue sea. A ray moves through the sea, as if the sea floor itself has learned to fly.
The reef senses danger through movement before any strike occurs. Every passing body sends a message through the Red Sea community. Under the coral roof, the hunted become part of the reef's hidden architecture. The Red Sea current is both river and road, carrying food through the reef. Behind coral, the Red Sea creates quiet pockets inside powerful water. When the current delivers food, the Red Sea fills with sudden hunger.
Every return to the current is a small act of survival. Each layer of the sea holds a different role in the balance of life. Food brings the small into the open, and the open sea brings risk. The strongest swimmers do not fight the sea, they borrow its force. The attack is not the story, the reaction of the sea is. The hunters move in circles, turning the sea into a living arena. For the small, unity is the shield that the Red Sea provides. Inside the school, the Red Sea becomes a storm of instinct. A near miss is enough to reshape the sea in an instant. In the Red Sea, survival can happen just beyond the reach of a larger mouth. When pressure fades, the sea relaxes into a new pattern. The grouper does not need speed when its presence alone opens space in the reef. Below the racing schools, patience waits in the rock. When danger rises, the reef becomes the safest place in the sea. The Coral Kingdom protects those small enough to enter its maze. The reef shelters the hunted, but it also shelters the hunter. Large hunters share the Red Sea without moving in the same way. In this sea, size can be strength, but it can also be limitation. The visible sea and the hidden sea are always moving together. On the sand, the ray follows clues that the open water hunters never see. A shadow above the Red Sea can change every decision below. The seafloor hides life, but it cannot hide every movement forever. Patience is another kind of speed in the Red Sea. The shark belongs to open sea paths, where awareness is everything. Above the reef, the shark keeps the open sea in balance. Life pauses for the hunter, then the sea begins again. Hunger connects the smallest coral mouth to the largest predator in the sea. A single predator can guide the motion of thousands. The Red Sea balances life not in one line, but across many levels. When the shadow passes, the Red Sea settles, but never fully relaxes. On the seafloor, survival is quieter, but no less precise. Each creature follows a separate path, yet all are shaped by the same Red Sea. Even gentle movement can uncover hidden fear beneath the sand. Each movement in the Red Sea creates another movement nearby. The stronger the current, the more the reef comes alive. The sea offers many escapes, but each one is made for a different body. In the Red Sea, direction itself can become a survival strategy. Inside the school, the sea becomes a storm of living instinct. The sea unites life when danger rises and divides it when the moment passes. The reef and the open sea divide the rules of survival. Not every hunt must end to change the balance of the reef. Every level of the reef offers a different answer to danger.
Some hunters never leave the reef. They let the sea bring life close.
The reef receives the frightened sea and turns movement back into hiding. Inside the coral, small lives enter a world that larger hunters cannot follow. Even predators in the Red Sea are part of relationships that keep the reef alive. The sea holds beauty and threat in the same turning circle. After panic, the sea creates stillness where life can reset. From below, the hunters become shadows written across the light. The Red Sea is not ruled by one creature, but balanced by many lives moving at once. The current returns like a pulse, reminding every life that the sea is always changing. Feeding in the Red Sea means watching the water as much as the food. Food draws life together, and the sea quickly becomes a chain of hunger. The hunter leaves, but its memory remains in the movement of the reef. From coral to predator, the Red Sea holds every life in balance. As the day slows, the Red Sea prepares for a different kind of life. The hunters of daylight withdraw, and the reef's hidden chambers grow darker. Different hunters use different paths, but all are shaped by the same sea. The sea erases signs of struggle, but the balance remains beneath the surface. The Red Sea is not ruled by one predator, but by many roles working together. When light begins to leave the Red Sea, survival changes its rules. After every disturbance, the sea finds a new pattern. This is the Red Sea in motion, ancient water carrying modern life. The day has shown the balance of hunger and shelter. Now the Red Sea will reveal what awakens after the light disappears. Where the current tightens, the balance of survival becomes sharper. The reef breaks the force of the sea, giving life places to rest. Safety in this sea is temporary, always changing with the next shadow. The chase does not need an ending to shape the behavior of the reef. After danger, the sea holds a brief silence before life continues. As the sea light softens, the reef begins to prepare for another transformation. The Dale's hunters drift away, but the Red Sea never truly sleeps. The balance of survival has shaped the day. Now the Red Sea will reveal what awakens when the light begins to disappear. The hidden lives of the Red Sea have shown their secret shelters. Beyond them, the sea's larger forces are waiting. As sunset reaches the Red Sea, the reef begins its transformation into a more secret world. Night has settled over the Red Sea, and the reef is now ruled by quieter, stranger life. The Red Sea night grows deeper, and the hidden life of the sea becomes even more mysterious. Above the Red Sea, moonlight replaces the sun, and the reef begins to glow in silence. In the darkness, the Red Sea reef turns outward, opening itself to the sea for food. In the Red Sea, evening is not an ending, but the opening of another rhythm. As the sea light fades, the reef begins to fold many of its daytime lives into shelter. Night feeding reveals how many hidden lives in the Red Sea depend on the drifting life of the sea. At night, the smallest lives in the sea become the atmosphere through which everything moves. As darkness deepens, the Red Sea fills with smaller drifting life, and the sea itself becomes richer. The reef is no longer only shelter. In the Red Sea night, it becomes a field of feeding mouths. When darkness approaches, the hidden mouths of the Red Sea reef begin to open. And in darkness, shapes hidden by daylight become the quiet architecture of the sea. Night turns the coral kingdom of the Red Sea into a living forest of feeders. At night, even the open sea above the reef becomes a feeding ground. The first night walkers of the Red Sea move carefully, feeling the water before every step. What floats unseen through the sea becomes food for lives that wait for darkness. Small hidden creatures of the Red Sea wait for darkness before crossing the reef. As night approaches, the Red Sea begins to fill with smaller, drifting life. Night travel in the Red Sea happens beneath a sky of drifting sea life. On the night seafloor, every movement is measured against the possibility of danger. Some hidden creatures of the Red Sea reveal their true form only after darkness arrives. In the evening sea, even the smallest drifting bodies begin to shape the life around them. The Red Sea seafloor becomes busier when daylight no longer dominates the reef. In the night sea, one hidden life often becomes the shelter for another. Many fish of the Red Sea seek shelter in caves while the night hunters begin to move. The hidden creatures of the Red Sea begin to leave their shelters when the light grows weak. The caves of the Red Sea hold their own quiet night communities. Night in the Red Sea belongs to lives that move best beneath the edge of darkness. The Red Sea night belongs to creatures that can change with every surface they touch. Now the hidden eel of the Red Sea begins its true night movement. The sea caves of the Red Sea hold many watchers of the night. In this sea, disappearance can be as graceful as movement. In the darker spaces of the sea, entire communities wait in fragile stillness. Another mind awakens in the Red Sea, patient, curious, and almost impossible to predict. Through the night sea, the eel travels like a line of moving shadow. Every movement of a night predator changes the behavior of the Red Sea reef. As night deepens in the Red Sea, the hidden hunters begin to wake. The octopus does not simply move through the sea. It reads the Red Sea with every touch. Patience and shadow
give the night hunters of the sea their advantage. Every object on the night sea floor may hide food, danger, or another secret. Another intelligence of the Red Sea waits for darkness to move more freely. Night gives the octopus the confidence to become part of the moving sea. From the dark rock, the eel enters the Red Sea night like a living shadow. From its rocky chamber, the eel enters the night sea with calm precision. Every movement in the Red Sea night sends a message through the reef. When the eel moves, the hidden reef responds before the sea appears to change. The octopus reads the Red Sea through contact, shadow, and silence. Night reveals the Red Sea, but it also teaches every creature when to disappear.
Curiosity becomes part of survival in the night sea.
Another intelligence of the Red Sea begins to move with the coming night. Darkness invites many hidden Red Sea lives into the open all at once. In the night sea, the octopus can become whatever the reef requires.
Some hunters of the Red Sea move with beauty, so slow it becomes a warning.
The night sea may look calm, but every creature is watching.
The octopus reads the sea with every touch of its arms. The night sea above the reef grows thick with drifting life.
In the Red Sea, even the smallest night feeders must balance hunger with caution. Night in the Red Sea rewards curiosity, caution, and silent movement. Inside the caves, the Red Sea holds fish that seem made for shadow. Transparency becomes a kind of night camouflage in the Red Sea. The reef now feeds more openly as the sea turns toward darkness. Some animals of the Red Sea wait for the sea to darken before revealing their full form. Within one hidden life, the Red Sea can protect another. Creatures too cautious for daylight now begin to cross the open reef. The sea grows dense with drifting life, and everything on the reef begins to feed from it. Beneath the reef, the nightlife of the Red Sea grows more active with every fading trace of light. In the Red Sea, the smallest night travelers move beneath a sea filled with drifting food. On some nights, the Red Sea releases the future of the reef into the moving sea. The night sea carries beginnings too small to control, yet powerful enough to build tomorrow's reef. Night gives the more cautious lives of the Red Sea a little more courage.
As darkness grows, the living haze of the sea becomes thicker. Even the slow, armored creatures of the Red Sea prefer to travel under darkness.
The night sea draws many small feeders upward into its invisible harvest.
Every surface of the Red Sea reef seems to drink from the dark current. When the reef darkens, many small hidden paths across the Red Sea open at once. The slowest animals of the sea work through the night, recycling the reef
grain by grain. Some hidden lives of the Red Sea wait for the sea to darken before they fully open. Even within the night feeders of the Red Sea, smaller hidden lives remain protected.
In darkness, even the hidden worms of the Red Sea become part of the moving reef.
The octopus belongs fully to the night sea, adapting to every texture it crosses. Beneath the reef, the Red Sea night awakens a separate layer of life. Each crack in the Red Sea night may hide food, danger, or another secret life. In the Red Sea, even spines can become a refuge for smaller lives. Night allows many hidden creatures to risk a little more of themselves. Some night hunters of the Red Sea move with beautiful precision rather than speed. Even the slow, armored lives of the Red Sea choose darkness to travel. Even in darkness, the reef remains alert to every larger shape in the sea. While hunters move through the Red Sea night, some daytime fish seal themselves inside quiet protection. The night sea brings many secret travelers into the open at once. The eel trusts the Red Sea darkness and pushes farther from shelter. Even sleep in this sea requires strategy. At night, the passages of the Red Sea become living roads for hunters. With darkness above, the octopus claims more of the Red Sea floor. The full night sea of the Red Sea grows richer as drifting life gathers overhead. A distant shadow is enough to remind the reef that night is never harmless. No other creature in this sea shifts so easily between movement and disguise. In the night reef, every hole in the sea may contain a possibility. In darkness, the smallest lives of the Red Sea become the atmosphere of the sea itself. Some hunters of the Red Sea move through darkness with beautiful caution. Moonlight turns the Red Sea reef into a maze of silver doors. The reef has fully changed now, and the Red Sea at night becomes a field of feeding life. Each coral of the Red Sea enters the Sea of Night differently, yet all answer the same drifting food. At night, the sea seems quieter, but the reef remains alert. The Red Sea connects plankton, corals, scavengers, and hunters in one nighttime chain of life. The eel leaves its chamber more fully now, trusting the protection of darkness. Even at night, camouflage remains one of the Red Sea's most powerful languages. Night turns the narrow passages of the sea into hunting roads. One small reef mound can hold an entire night ecosystem in the Red Sea. Some night beauty in the Red Sea moves so slowly it can almost be missed. By night, the Red Sea feels older, quieter, and more mysterious than by day. With full night, the Red Sea becomes richer with drifting life. The night sea feeds those who wait, those who filter, and those who hunt. Different lives use the same night for different purposes.
In darkness, the smallest lives of the sea begin to shine in the imagination.
The structures of the reef become more enigmatic when the sea is ruled by shadow.
Even the open seafloor becomes alive with quieter movement after dark. Across the reef, separate hunters travel through the same sea of shadow.
The reef of the Red Sea transforms at night into a field of countless open mouths.
Each coral in the Red Sea enters the night in its own way, yet all follow the same hidden tide of hunger. Night travel in the Red Sea is brief, careful, and always aware.
The Red Sea night is not one story, but many stories moving at once.
The hidden Red Sea grows most active when the sea itself seems quiet.
Night in the Red Sea links the smallest scavengers, the drifting plankton, and the reef itself.
When the current rises, the night reef becomes more alive.
In darkness, the Red Sea becomes a quieter but more mysterious ocean world.
A single reef mound can hold an entire night community within the sea.
A river of small life passes through the sea, feeding everything that can reach it. The deeper night becomes, the more the Red Sea feels ancient and unknotable. Beyond this darkness, the Red Sea still holds another change of mood.
At night, many lives of the Red Sea overlap in the same hidden space. One passing body can wake hidden movement across the sand.
The structures of the reef become more enigmatic when the sea is ruled by shadow. Even the open seafloor becomes busier when daylight disappears. The night sea of the Red Sea is full, layered, and quietly alive. The night seafloor is filled with doors that open only for a moment.
After searching the night reef, even the octopus returns to the safety of stone. Night travel in the Red Sea is brief, careful, and always aware. Everything remains in motion here, even when the Red Sea appears still.
The night sea is not empty. It is simply filled with quieter lives. The darkness of the Red Sea begins to soften, but the night world still holds on.
The deeper night carries the hidden memory of the Red Sea through every current. The Red Sea holds its greatest mystery when so much is alive, yet so little is fully seen.
The night reef reveals how much of the Red Sea lives beyond the reach of daylight.
Through darkness, the Red Sea has revealed another hidden face, and the journey is ready to return to the wider memory of the sea.
In darkness, the Red Sea becomes a quieter but more mysterious ocean world. Through the longest night, the Red Sea has shown its secret pulse. Soon, the ancient sea will return to light and memory. The night is only one face of the sea, and the Red Sea still holds more to reveal.
Through the night, the Red Sea has revealed its secret life. Beyond this darkness, the journey will return to the larger memory of the sea. From above, the sea is water. From within, it is memory, shelter, and endless motion. The current is the thread that ties the Red Sea together. After the long night, the Red Sea begins to return to light. carrying every hidden life into a new day. The ancient waters continue to carry life from shadow into light. What fed in darkness now remains part of the greater living rhythm of the Red Sea. The hidden life of the Red Sea remains, protected by the reef and renewed by each day. The Red Sea is a gateway between ancient memory and living motion. This ancient sea has shown only a fraction of what still lives beneath its surface. And as color returns, the ancient reef reveals how many lives survived the night. What was hidden in darkness now belongs to the greater rhythm of the sea.
The small lives that hid in the reef now return to the open sea of morning.
The journey ends in morning light, but the Red Sea continues, ancient, hidden, and alive.
And the sea floor still carries the evidence of everything that moved in darkness.
The Red Sea is both secret chamber and open horizon.
Every small life adds movement to the vast body of the ancient sea.
In the Red Sea, one community withdraws as another begins its day.
This is the Red Sea as a living heritage, shaped by countless unseen lives. Every crack, every cave, and every channel belongs to the same ancient sea.
The Red Sea connects the hidden and the visible, the small and the vast, the night and the day. This ancient water is more than a sea. It is a living memory shaped by every creature within it. Morning does not erase the hidden world. It simply moves it back into the reef. The Red Sea begins each day with movement, color, and the quiet memory of night. The same reef that fed in darkness now shines again beneath the morning sea. What once seemed separate is revealed as one ancient living architecture. The hunters of the night return to darkness, but their presence still shapes the reef. As the hidden hunters rest, the open sea fills again with motion. Together, these small lives make the Red Sea appear to breathe. The sea is not a collection of scenes. It is one living story written in layers. The Red Sea protects life, not with walls, but with living forms built over time. The traces of night remain for a while, then the sea writes a new day over them. Color returns to the Red Sea, like a language spoken again after darkness. The hidden world is still here, beneath the beauty that morning reveals.
The Red Sea holds life in layers, each one depending on the next.
The small, the hidden, and the visible all share the same ancient reef.
The current gathers life again, and the Red Sea begins another cycle of movement. Here, shelter and open water meet, just as they have for generations. The Red Sea is not only a place of beauty, it is a living heritage shaped by time.
The reef remembers the night, even as the morning sea fills again with color. The hidden world remains inside the reef, protected by the ancient structure of the sea. The Red Sea gives life both shelter and space, both refuge and journey.
The reef reaches into the sea, and the sea answers with light and food.
Above the Pacific Ocean, a superstorm turns the sea. Pacific Ocean, a superstorm turns the sea into a vast field of power.
Deeper inside the Pacific power. Deeper inside the Pacific Reef, the storm turns the coral world into a fortress of survival.
From above, the storm appears almost alive. Shaping the surface of the ocean with relentless force. For the smallest fish, every coral branch becomes a wall against the moving sea. At the surface of the Pacific, wind, rain, and waves merge into one moving body. Yet beneath this chaos, another world is waiting. In the sea below.
The storm reaches the bottom as moving sand, and the seafloor becomes a place of constant change.
The superstorm rules the surface, but the ocean beneath it is beginning to respond. To understand this storm, we must follow it below the waves.
When the Pacific grows restless, the strongest shelter is often found beneath the reef itself.
Below the storm, the sea is still restless, filled with noise, motion, and pressure.
The same storm that threatens the reef also sends food through its hidden corridors.
The superstorm above reshapes the first layers of the ocean, stirring everything in its reach.
Inside the storm-dark reef, the old balance of hunter and hidden prey continues.
Even before the reef appears, life in the Pacific Ocean is already adapting to the force above.
Beneath the raging surface, the hidden life of the Pacific is just beginning to come into view.
This reef is not only surviving the Pacific storm, it is using every shape, shelter, and current to stay alive.
Farther below the storm, the Pacific begins to reveal the lives that endure beneath the violence above.
Within the coral, the smallest spaces become the strongest protection.
The reef is not a single shelter, but thousands of shelters joined together by the sea. The ocean floor is not untouched by the storm. It feels the force as current, pressure, and shifting light.
When the storm presses down from above, even the smallest fish know where safety begins.
Some fish survive the moving water by holding still in the right place.
Every surge from above sends another signal through the reef. The reef becomes a fortress, and every crevice in the sea becomes a refuge.
On the seafloor, survival can mean staying low, staying still, and letting the storm pass overhead.
In the sand, the storm turns every open doorway into a risk.
Beneath the superstorm, even sight becomes uncertain. Each species answers the storm in its own way, anchoring, hiding, or yielding to the current. The storm can be felt as a rhythm in the water, and the reef responds to every shift. Not every survivor moves quickly. Some endure by holding their place.
Even in the middle of a superstorm, the ocean still contains places of relative calm.
Even fragile forms can become shelter when the ocean begins to move with force.
Some creatures do not flee the storm. They wait inside the reef and let the sea bring the world to them.
Behind the moving coral, the reef hides quiet rooms for those small enough to enter. Below the storming Pacific, a hidden world is already adapting, enduring, and waiting for the next surge from above. The coral reef beneath the Pacific storm is a maze of pressure, shelter, and living response.
Beneath the Pacific storm, the reef becomes a shelter shaped by pressure, current, and instinct.
Inside this reef maze, every creature depends on the shape of the ocean around it.
When the water grows stronger, the reef becomes a shelter of narrow spaces.
Every branch of coral becomes a narrow refuge when the ocean above is in chaos.
The reef wall becomes a living shield against the restless sea.
In rough water, even a short crossing becomes a decision. On the seafloor, the safest creature may be the one that almost disappears. The storm changes the seafloor, but some lives survive by becoming almost invisible. Under the storm, every open crossing becomes a test of timing. For some creatures beneath the waves, stillness is the strongest defense. The hidden animals of the reef survive the storm by holding to the ocean's strongest edges. The storm turns the coral chamber into both a hiding place and a feeding ground. The reef does not fight every force. It bends, absorbs, and waits.
Even during the storm, the small services of the reef continue in hidden corners.
Even a storm can carry food through the sea, turning danger into opportunity. The storm changes the water, but the ancient balance of the reef remains. In the shelter of the reef, hunters and hunted share the same storm. Every shelter in the reef belongs to a larger system of pressure, hunger, and protection.
Below the superstorm, the Pacific is not silent. It is a living world responding to pressure from above.
The reef has become a living refuge, but the Pacific storm is still pushing deeper through the sea.
The Pacific storm is still reaching downward, turning every coral corridor into a test of survival. The storm above continues to press into the sea, and every hidden life below must answer. Inside the reef, the smallest spaces become the safest rooms in the ocean. In the smallest openings of the ocean floor, survival is measured in seconds. Tiny creatures beneath the waves read the current through touch before they dare to move. The reef is built from countless hiding places, each one shaped by the sea. Beneath the storm, the ocean floor opens and closes like a restless, hidden world. When the water changes, cooperation becomes another form of shelter. The young lives of the reef gather tightly when the sea becomes unpredictable. When the sea becomes unstable, even the smallest partnership must work faster. The reef holds many kinds of strength, from gripping arms to hidden claws.
Some creatures survive the storm by becoming part of the reef itself.
In rough water, disguise is not only a trick, it is a way to endure. The storm turns danger into food, but only for those quick enough to risk the open sea. Even the moving corals become shelter when the storm pushes through the sea. In the storm-dark reef, camouflage becomes a silent form of patience. The storm changes the rhythm of the reef, but the ancient tension between hunter and hidden prey remains. The reef guides them through the storm, one protected passage at a time. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, every hidden creature becomes part of one living response. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the coral reef survives as one connected refuge of movement, pressure, and life. Below the Pacific superstorm, the sea becomes a test of shelter, instinct, and endurance. Inside the reef, survival is shared by every creature that can find shelter from the moving sea. In unstable water, moving together becomes the safest shape in the ocean.
The storm makes the open water dangerous, and the reef answers with hidden rooms.
What looks like a wall is really a crowded world holding itself against the current. The storm changes the water, and every fish answers with motion. For larger animals, the same current that threatens the small can become a path through the sea. On the storm-dark seafloor, hiding can mean becoming part of the sand. The ocean covers some lives so completely that survival becomes almost invisible. Near the seafloor, survival depends less on speed and more on holding ground. Even larger, calmer lives of the Pacific choose shelter when the sea above becomes violent. Beneath the ledge, many small lives wait together while the storm moves above them. The storm carries food through the reef, but every meal must be taken between pulses of danger. The storm brings danger, but it also carries food through the hidden corridors of the sea. In the shadowed reef, the octopus survives by reading the sea through touch. Every opportunity beneath the storm lasts only until the next surge arrives. The reef holds both refuge and danger, and the storm brings them closer together. Inside the reef, the storm is measured through pressure, shadow, and the behavior of every neighbor. Beneath the raging Pacific, every creature is connected by the same force moving through the sea. Under the Pacific superstorm, the reef becomes one living refuge, where every hidden life depends on the sea around it. The Pacific reef holds its life close, turning every surface into protection beneath the storm. Below the storm, the Pacific Ocean is not broken, it is alive, adjusting with every pulse of the sea. The reef becomes a sanctuary, holding fragile lives against the force above. The smallest fish survive by trusting the narrow architecture of the reef. Inside the reef wall, the sea hides entire lives smaller than a shadow. For the youngest lives in the ocean, survival begins inside the smallest spaces. The seafloor changes with every pulse, hiding and revealing its smallest doors. Predator and prey share the same shelter when the sea becomes stronger than either of them. The storm writes its force through the water, and the reef answers with movement. In the smallest partnerships of the ocean, warning and work become survival. Beneath the coral ledge, different lives share one shelter against the moving sea. Even beneath a superstorm, the ocean hides quiet spaces where life can wait. Some lives survive by moving with the sea, and others survive by becoming almost invisible. The storm brings food through the reef, but every brief meal comes with risk. This hidden world beneath the Pacific storm is built from instinct, shelter, and connection. The octopus reads the storm through the stone, waiting for the sea to loosen its grip. Even in the storm, the reef keeps its ancient balance between patience and escape. Above, the storm still rules the waves. Below, the ocean's hidden life continues to endure. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the reef survives because every hidden life has found a place within the sea. This is only the first descent beneath the Pacific superstorm. Deeper in the reef, every creature must find its place against the pressure of the sea.
The first descent continues, and the Pacific Ocean reveals that survival beneath a storm is never still.
Deeper inside the Pacific reef, shelter is not one place, but a whole living structure shaped by the sea. For the smallest fish, the reef becomes a maze designed for survival. Far below the waves, even light from the storm becomes part of the reef's warning system. The storm reaches downward not as wind, but as pressure, current, and moving sand. Every surface of the reef holds smaller lives, waiting for the sea to calm. The sand beneath the storm is never still. It hides and reveals life with every passing current. In the smallest homes of the sea, partnership can become the difference between danger and survival. Every hidden creature has its own answer to the same force moving through the ocean. In this unstable sea, even the smallest home must be repaired against the storm. Under the ledge, the reef becomes a shared shelter for many different kinds of life. Under the storm, the distance between shelters becomes a challenge measured in heartbeats. The storm pushes food through the reef, and every hidden creature must decide when to risk the open water. The octopus survives by becoming part of the reef while the storm passes above.
The same current that threatens the reef also carries food through its hidden passages.
In the darkness of the reef, the octopus becomes both witness and survivor. Beneath the Pacific storm, no life stands alone. Every creature is tied to the shape of the sea around it. The storm may disturb the water, but the reef still holds its old rules of waiting and distance. The first descent has only opened the storm's hidden world. Deeper in the reef, the Pacific will reveal how life endures under pressure.
Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the coral terrace becomes one living refuge, where every hidden life depends on every shape around it.
The Pacific storm keeps pushing through the reef, and every passage becomes a place of decision. Deeper inside the Pacific reef, the storm becomes a hidden pressure moving through every passage of the sea. Inside the coral, the youngest lives wait for the moving sea to give them a safer moment. The ocean floor changes moment by moment, reshaped by a storm that never touches it directly. The reef wall holds life by giving each creature a different grip on survival. For the smallest reef walkers, survival means holding fast to anything the sea cannot easily move.
The reef bends and holds at the same time, giving each creature a different way to endure.
Some lives survive the storm by allowing the sea to hide them completely. Stillness becomes a language beneath the storm. In disturbed water, the safest path is often the one closest to the reef. Under the coral ledge, many forms of life share one small pocket of safety. Inside the reef, patience becomes another form of strength. Food moves through the storm, but only the quick and cautious can reach it. The octopus answers the storm not by fleeing, but by becoming part of the seafloor. The octopus waits with the patience of the reef itself. Even in danger, the storm delivers food, and the reef must seize each brief chance. Even as the storm moves through the sea, the reef keeps its ancient tension alive. Beneath the Pacific storm, every creature survives by using the reef in its own way. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the reef survives as a connected world of shelter, hunger, pressure, and patience.
The first descent moves deeper still, toward the places where the Pacific hides its strongest survivors.
Here, beneath the storm, the Pacific Ocean hides a calmer chamber where life gathers against the pressure. The Pacific storm keeps pressing through the reef, and the sea turns every corridor into a living test. Inside the smallest branches, fragile lives find shelter from a force far larger than themselves. Even when the storm weakens below, the seafloor still carries the memory of its force. The reef wall is crowded with lives that survive by holding close to the sea's strongest edges. In the smallest homes of the ocean, survival is built through warning, work, and trust. The young fish of the reef turn coral into shelter, waiting for the sea above to calm. The sand beneath the storm is always changing, hiding the smallest doors almost as soon as they appear. Some creatures survive the Pacific storm not by speed, but by patience and contact with the reef. In this unstable sea, even a tiny home must be defended again and again. Under the ledge, the reef becomes a shared shelter for lives that would never gather in calm water. Inside the storm-dark reef, patience and shelter become as powerful as movement. The storm brings food through the reef, but every chance to feed is surrounded by danger. The octopus moves only when the current allows, reading the storm through every touch. The octopus survives by reading every pulse of the sea through the stone beneath it. The storm brings risk into the sea, but it also sends food through every protected hollow.
Within the same shelter, the reef holds fear, patience, hunger, and protection.
Beneath the Pacific superstorm, every creature becomes part of one living system shaped by the sea. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the reef endures because every hidden life has found a way to belong to the moving sea.
The first descent continues, and the Pacific leads us from shelter into another hidden passage beneath the storm.
The Pacific Reef continues to hold its life close as the storm keeps pressing through the sea.
Beyond the sheltered basin, the Pacific Ocean becomes restless again, forcing every creature to choose its path. For the smallest fish, the safest world is the one too narrow for danger to enter. Here, the storm is felt not as thunder, but as moving sand and shifting pressure. The reef wall becomes a crowded shelter, each small surface holding another life against the storm. For the smallest reef walkers, the sea becomes a force to hold against. The seafloor beneath the storm is never fixed. It changes with every breath of the ocean. In rough water, the school survives by becoming one shape moving through the sea. In the smallest shelter, teamwork becomes a defense against the moving sea. Under the ledge, many small lives share the same thin line of safety. Even under the storm, the old balance of the reef remains. The storm turns the reef into a place of sudden danger and sudden food. The octopus does not resist the Pacific storm. It becomes part of the reef until the sea allows movement again. The storm sends danger through the ocean, but it also carries food into hidden places. The octopus waits inside the reef, changing with the sea instead of fighting it. Inside the same reef, hunger and shelter wait side by side. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, every hidden life is connected by the same moving water.
Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the reef remains alive, because every hidden creature has found shelter inside the moving ocean.
The first descent continues, and deeper beneath the storm, the Pacific hides still more lives waiting in the dark. The Pacific Reef keeps drawing its life inward, turning every chamber into protection beneath the storm. In the storm-dark sea, camouflage becomes a quiet shield against both current and danger.
When the open sea becomes unstable, the smallest gaps in the reef become the safest world. The reef wall holds its secrets tightly, giving each small creature a place to endure. Some lives endure by letting the ocean cover them.
The reef becomes shelter, anchor, and warning system all at once.
Beneath the storm, even the sand becomes a moving shelter and a moving threat. The storm brings chaos into the sea, but within chaos, food appears. In this hidden corner of the ocean, survival is built through shared warning and careful work. Under the ledge, different lives share one shelter, because the moving sea leaves no room for pride. The safest path through the storm is the one written by the reef itself. Inside the rock, the octopus becomes another shadow of the Pacific Reef.
The octopus survives by becoming part of the reef until the sea gives permission to move.
Predators wait, prey hide, and the storm moves between them. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, every life is part of the same underwater struggle.
The first descent continues, and beyond the reef valley, the Pacific begins to reveal a deeper hidden world. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the coral chamber becomes one living refuge, holding every hidden life inside the moving ocean.
The storm changes the light,
but life beneath it never stops. Every turn is answered by thousands, and the school becomes one moving body. Beyond the reef, the Pacific opens into a larger world where survival depends on movement.
In open water, safety is no longer a hiding place, but a shared direction. The deeper we follow the Pacific beneath the superstorm, the more its hidden greatness continues to unfold. Above them, the storm moves the surface. Below it, the fish move as one. Far below the storm, the Pacific is shaped not only by waves, but by rivers of water flowing inside the ocean itself. In the open Pacific, the storm hides danger until it moves. Every small movement spreads through thousands of lives, like a pulse through the ocean. A single change of direction can protect thousands of lives. The Pacific writes living geometry across the open water. Not every giant fights the storm. Some pass through it with ancient calm.
Beneath the moving school, the ray follows deeper currents of the storm cannot fully command.
The strongest travelers waste nothing, allowing the Pacific itself to carry them. In the open sea, every creature reads the storm differently. Even the gentlest drifters become part of the great motion beneath the storm.
Far from the reef, the Pacific reveals predators that travel with the rhythm of the sea rather than the violence of the storm.
The Pacific gathers giants not in one place, but across every depth.
The school becomes a floating sky beneath the storming sea. The strongest hunters conserve energy, letting the ocean work with them instead of against them. And many hunters follow the same current, each searching without disturbing the balance of the sea.
The farther we descend beneath the Pacific, the quieter the storm becomes, yet the ocean grows even more powerful.
Even beneath a superstorm, light continues to guide the hidden world below. Invisible life feeds the entire Pacific, one drifting current at a time. Thousands separate for a moment, only to become one once again. Every movement spreads instantly across the school, creating order from countless individual lives. Close to the bottom, larger wings carry life through currents that never stop moving. Different worlds share the same ocean, separated only by depth. Above the Pacific, the storm shapes the light. Below, the light reshapes the ocean. The Pacific reveals itself in layers, each filled with life responding to the same sea. Some giants travel not with force, but with extraordinary grace. Beyond these waters, even greater travelers of the Pacific are already approaching. The Pacific rewards patience, allowing the largest gentle giants to thrive on the smallest drifting life. Far from the reef, the Pacific becomes an endless highway of movement. Every depth of the Pacific carries its own travelers moving in opposite directions. Order survives because every individual responds to the same invisible current. Even the softest creatures become part of the Pacific's immense design. The Pacific Ocean is not one habitat, but countless living worlds stacked together beneath the storm. The storm changes the light, but not the discipline of the sea. Beyond the last blue light, the Pacific still guards a world that few eyes have ever seen. Power in the Pacific often arrives without speed or noise. The Pacific now leaves the familiar world behind and begins its descent into silence.
Every powerful swimmer measures its strength against the sea instead of fighting it.
Even here, where the sea appears empty, life fills every current. Closer to the bottom, the rhythm of the storm becomes slower and deeper. Even in open water, larger creatures create quiet places for smaller lives. The storm still exists above, but its voice grows quieter with every meter of depth. The Pacific is never empty. Every layer carries another hidden community. Hidden rivers inside the Pacific shape journeys that no surface wave can reveal. The deeper sea replaces speed with patience and light with quiet transparency.
The deeper we travel into the Pacific, the more the storm reveals a world united by motion rather than fear.
The smallest lights often guide the longest journeys beneath the Pacific.
The Pacific Ocean becomes a living sky beneath the storm, filled with countless lives moving together.
Life becomes less crowded, but no less extraordinary.
Each individual follows simple instincts, yet together they create impossible beauty.
What appears to be empty water is actually an endless rain feeding the deep Pacific. Ahead lies the threshold, where daylight gives way to another world.
Above, the storm reshapes the light. Below, the ocean reshapes itself.
Beyond this fading light, the Pacific keeps secrets that have waited millions of years to be seen.
Some of the Pacific's greatest travelers appear almost like silent shadows beneath the living sea. Strength beneath the Pacific is measured by calm precision rather than speed.
Here, the Pacific begins to leave the world of sunlight behind. The storm still exists above, but its power is now remembered only through the currents.
Every giant in the Pacific carries its own small community.
Invisible rivers continue their journey long after the surface has forgotten the storm. The Pacific Ocean is built in layers, each one alive with its own hidden rhythm. The deeper Pacific introduces life that seems almost made from light itself. Even the smallest drifting life continues the story of the Pacific. Together, thousands of small lives become one of the ocean's greatest wonders. With every meter downward, life becomes quieter, but never disappears. Beyond these endless waters, the greatest giants of the Pacific are waiting beneath the storm. The Pacific is shaped by currents hidden far below the reach of wind. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the ocean's largest travelers move with a calm older than the waves. Some lives remain only as passing shadows until the deep sea chooses to reveal them. Even the storm above cannot hurry the deep rhythm of a giant.
Around a giant, the Pacific seems to slow down and expand. Ahead lies the threshold, where the familiar ocean ends and the abyss begins. The largest life and the smallest drifting bodies belong to the same ocean current. The Pacific has guided us beyond the reach of sunlight. What waits below belongs to the oldest and most mysterious kingdom of the sea. The Pacific now reaches the quiet frontier between daylight and the deep unknown. Some giants of the Pacific are so vast they seem to belong to the sea itself. The storm commands the surface, but the deep Pacific keeps its own ancient order. Some of the ocean's longest travelers are not single animals, but entire living colonies. Together, the giants travel as if guided by memories carried through the sea. The deeper Pacific reveals beauty that seems almost impossible to notice from the surface. From surface chaos to deep calm, the Pacific holds many worlds at once. Light grows weaker, yet life continues to create its own quiet brilliance. Every falling particle becomes part of the deep Pacific's endless cycle of life. One movement from a giant can ripple through countless smaller lives. The surface storm now feels like a distant memory, carried only by the ocean itself. The open Pacific beneath the storm is not ruled by one creature, but by the movement of all life together. Silence becomes the dominant voice as the Pacific prepares for the abyss. The Pacific Ocean beneath the storm is one connected living world, where every current carries countless lives. Invisible boundaries divide the Pacific more completely than any coastline. Not every giant beneath the Pacific storm is a hunter. Some travel quietly through clouds of life. The deepest travelers reveal themselves only for a moment before returning to darkness.
Even the largest travelers move with remarkable gentleness through the open sea.
The scale of the Pacific is best understood when a giant passes silently above.
The Pacific no longer feels like an ocean of waves, but an ocean of silence.
The Pacific holds giants that fly through water with the grace of birds. Every drifting particle carries the story of life deeper into the Pacific. The currents shape every journey, from the smallest fish to the largest wings. Some of the Pacific's most extraordinary lives exist only through perfect cooperation. The ocean creates patterns that no single creature could ever make alone. Listen. As sunlight disappears, delicate beauty becomes even more remarkable. Nothing in the Pacific truly stands still. Even silence continues to move. The world above still exists, but it no longer defines the ocean below. The Pacific is sculpted by rivers hidden inside the sea. The farther we descend, the more every living shape becomes a rare discovery. The deepest Pacific reveals itself only through brief glimpses and patient observation. Now the Pacific opens the door to the deepest realm, where life has evolved beyond the reach of the sun. The Pacific Ocean now reaches the threshold where sunlight surrenders completely to the deep sea. Even in apparent emptiness,
the Pacific Ocean is constantly nourishing life. The strongest rivers of the Pacific Ocean are hidden beneath its surface. Some of the sea's most delicate creatures shine brightest where daylight almost disappears. Cooperation becomes one of the oldest survival strategies in the Pacific Ocean. The storm above has become only a memory carried by the sea.
The deeper the Pacific Ocean becomes, the more precious every living encounter feels.
The Pacific Ocean never reveals all of its inhabitants at once. Beyond this final darkness, the Pacific Ocean enters a kingdom illuminated not by the sun, but by life itself. For the first time, the Pacific Ocean is no longer illuminated by the sky above, but by the life within it. Everything that falls from the upper sea becomes the beginning of another world.
The deepest Pacific Ocean is shaped by currents that never meet the wind.
The storm above has finally disappeared, but the ocean continues its ancient journey.
The deepest ocean transforms fragile bodies into living constellations.
The Pacific Abyss resembles a universe where every falling particle supports unseen life. Some giants of the deep move so slowly they seem detached from time itself. Even in darkness, the Pacific Ocean remains full of movement. In the deep Pacific, communication is written with light rather than sound. Every flash of light carries meaning in the endless darkness. The deeper Pacific Ocean reveals a civilization of light hidden beneath the storm. The Pacific Ocean becomes darker, yet life becomes even more extraordinary. Some of the Pacific's oldest legends begin with creatures that rarely meet the light. The deep Pacific rewards patience with glimpses of remarkable life. Even the darkness of the Pacific Ocean is filled with gentle light. Many deep-sea fish disappear by matching the light above them. The Pacific Ocean hides its greatest wonders inside perfect silence. Some deep-sea travelers appear almost unreal until they move. The Pacific Abyss creates beauty from darkness rather than sunlight. Every light in the Pacific may belong to a creature we have never fully seen. The Pacific Ocean has only begun revealing the astonishing life beneath its deepest waters. Deeper still, the Pacific Ocean begins to reveal creatures shaped by darkness itself. Some hunters in the deep Pacific survive by waiting in perfect stillness. In the abyss, patience can be as powerful as speed. Small lights travel together through the deep, turning darkness into direction. Transparency becomes another way to disappear in the Pacific Abyss. In this world, light can attract, warn, confuse, or conceal. Every flash in the deep Pacific may be a message written for survival. The abyss is not empty darkness. It is a slow ballet of fragile bodies. Every depth of the Pacific has its own rules, its own lights, and its own hidden lives.
Ahead, the Pacific Abyss grows stranger, and the hidden creatures become harder to imagine. The Pacific Abyss now becomes a place where darkness has depth, movement, and life. Some creatures of the deep Pacific have evolved to look through darkness itself. In the abyss, survival often begins with seeing what others cannot. Some lives do not chase the ocean. They stand inside its current and wait.
In the deepest Pacific, patience becomes the rhythm of life.
Here, light can become a tool, a signal, and a trap. In a world without sunlight, even the smallest glow can change everything.
The Pacific Abyss survives through stillness, light, pressure, and astonishing adaptation.
Deeper along the Pacific Trench, the hidden world grows stranger still. The deepest walls of the Pacific Ocean preserve a history older than any storm above. Even without sunlight, the Pacific Ocean creates islands of life powered from within the earth. Where heat escapes from the earth, entire deep-sea communities gather. Life in the Pacific Abyss does not always depend on the sun. Sometimes it depends on the planet itself. Even the largest walkers of the abyss move with remarkable patience. Every movement on the abyssal floor is measured against immense pressure and endless time. Heat, darkness, and drifting life exist together in perfect balance. Camouflage remains one of the oldest survival strategies, even in complete darkness. The Pacific Ocean proves that life can flourish wherever energy can be found. Beyond the last hydrothermal light, the Pacific Ocean still guards mysteries waiting in absolute darkness. Beyond the vent fields, the Pacific Ocean enters a darkness that feels almost endless. Even the darkest walls of the Pacific hold lives adapted to pressure and silence. In the abyss, camouflage is not color alone, but shape, patience, and stillness.
Every movement here is slow because the deep Pacific wastes nothing.
What falls from above becomes a feast for those waiting below. The abyssal floor survives through patience, recycling, and the endless rain of the sea. Above the trench floor, hunters write their presence with light. The deep Pacific is a world where danger and beauty often share the same glow. Far beneath the Pacific storm, the abyss is not empty. It is a hidden system of survival. Deeper in the Pacific Trench, the hidden world grows quieter, stranger, and even more ancient. The deeper basin of the Pacific Ocean holds life so quiet it almost becomes part of the darkness. Here, survival is built from patience and the endless rain from the upper ocean. Even the smallest reach matters in the deep Pacific. Some creatures of the abyss move through darkness with unexpected grace. The deep sea rewards slow movement, careful energy, and perfect balance. In absolute darkness, a single glow can become a world. Light in the abyss is never wasted. Every pulse has a purpose. The Pacific Trench turns stone,
darkness, and falling food into a living landscape. Far below the Pacific superstorm, the abyss survives through quiet cooperation. The Pacific still descends, and every deeper corridor carries a mystery older than the storm. The Pacific Ocean continues descending into places where almost no sunlight has ever reached. Pressure has shaped even the simplest movement into remarkable efficiency.
Even the smallest inhabitants reshape the life surrounding the Pacific Trench. Some creatures of the Pacific become almost invisible, except for the light they choose to reveal.
Transparency becomes one of the greatest disguises in the deep sea.
The Pacific Ocean feeds countless lives simply by allowing the currents to flow. In the Pacific Abyss, even the most fragile life becomes part of the deep current. The deep Pacific turns stone and silence into a living foundation. What falls from the upper ocean becomes the daily bread of the abyss. Here, light can become both invitation and warning. Every glow in the deep Pacific changes the behavior of everything around it. In the abyss, a body can become a message written in light. The deep sea is not empty space, but a layered world of signals, patience, and pressure. On the trench ledge, life survives by wasting nothing and waiting well. Far below the Pacific superstorm, the abyss is a complete world built from darkness. The Pacific still descends, and its deepest secrets are waiting beyond the next darkness. The deepest Pacific Ocean is not empty. It is simply too patient to reveal itself quickly. Here, survival is built from what the upper sea sends down. In this darkness, even a single reaching arm can gather life from the current. Grace still exists in the abyss, even where the sea is ruled by pressure. Every creature here moves as if the deep sea has taught it economy. In the Pacific Abyss, a single glow can become an entire landscape. Light here is never decoration, it is survival. The deepest Pacific writes messages in brief flashes no surface creature can read. Far below the Pacific superstorm, darkness becomes an ecosystem. The storm above is gone from sight, but the Pacific still leads us deeper into its oldest darkness. The deeper Pacific Ocean now feels almost motionless, yet every particle is still part of life. What falls from the upper sea becomes the foundation of survival below. Even here, where pressure is immense, the reef of stone becomes a shelter. Transparency allows life to disappear inside the darkness without leaving the sea. The Pacific Abyss hides beauty by making it almost weightless. Small lights mark the paths of lives that rarely meet the surface. Above the trench floor and below the open dark, every layer carries its own quiet survivors. In the deep Pacific, light becomes language, warning, and disguise.
The abyss is not empty darkness. It is a slow, living map of adaptation. The Pacific still descends, and the next darkness promises creatures shaped by depths beyond imagination.
The Pacific Ocean now enters a depth where silence feels ancient.
On the deepest shelves, life survives by using every fragment the sea delivers. The abyssal floor is a world of slow work and endless recycling.
Even in the oldest darkness, the Pacific Ocean can move with grace.
Every creature here saves energy, because the deep sea gives nothing easily. Above the abyssal floor, small lights mark the paths of hidden travelers. In the deep Pacific, the boundary between body and water can almost disappear. Here, light is not decoration. It is a language of survival. Far below the Pacific Superstorm, the abyss is a complete world built from patience and light. The Pacific still has deeper darkness ahead, and every unseen shape suggests another secret waiting below. The storm controls the sky, but beneath it, the sea answers with life.
At the deepest edge of the Pacific, the storm above has become a memory, but life below continues in darkness.
Here, survival depends on what falls from the world above.
Great wings move through the storm-shaped sea, as if the ocean itself is guiding them. The Pacific Trench turns stone, pressure, and darkness into a hidden, living landscape.
This is not chaos alone. It is the Pacific reorganizing life through movement. The storm scatters life for a moment, but the current brings it back together.
In this realm, a single point of light can change the entire sea around it.
Light becomes language, warning, and survival in the deepest Pacific.
Beneath the Pacific Superstorm, life survives not by escaping the force, but by becoming part of it.
Even here, where darkness feels endless, the ocean still carries grace.
The Pacific Ocean is no longer resisting the storm, it is turning the storm into movement.
The abyss survives through patience, recycling, and the smallest gifts from the sea above. And every pulse of pressure becomes a new shape for survival. The dark Pacific is filled with fragile lights, each one moving through pressure and silence.
The larger hunters follow the storm's design, waiting where the current gathers life. The storm has opened a feeding corridor between darkness and light.
Beneath the Pacific Superstorm, darkness itself becomes a complete ecosystem. From the deepest Pacific, hidden currents begin carrying life upward again. From the deepest darkness, the Pacific begins sending life back toward the upper sea.
Above, the storm controls the light. Below, life turns that light into direction.
The ocean does not only pull downward, it also lifts hidden life back into motion. Even at the storm's peak, the great wings of the Pacific keep their ancient calm. Even when the current changes direction, the deep keeps speaking through light.
This is the hidden machinery of the Pacific, where pressure, food, and instinct move together.
At the edge of the abyss, Even gentle movement can reshape the world around it. For a moment, the storm scatters everything, and then the ocean begins to organize itself again. The deep Pacific changes slowly, but every change touches many lives.
Beneath the Pacific Superstorm, survival has become a dance between the deep and the storm above.
Small lights gather where the current carries food. In the deep ocean, life follows invisible roads drawn by food and pressure. The Pacific Abyss is never still. It is a crossing of movements too slow for the surface to notice. What begins in darkness may feed the brighter ocean above. The Pacific storm may rage above, but far below, hidden currents are already rebuilding the path of life. From the deep Pacific, life begins to rise again through currents no eye can see from above. Where food rises, even the smallest lights begin to gather. In the deep sea, direction is written by food, pressure, and light. Below, the slow world continues, while above it, another journey begins. The deep Pacific carries fragile lives upward, without sound, without urgency, and without waste. Some lives survive the open darkness by becoming many bodies with one purpose. Predators also follow the rising path, reading the glow of smaller lives. The Pacific is a crossing of hidden roads, some falling, some rising, all carrying life. The upward current begins to reconnect the abyss with the living layers above. From the deepest Pacific, the hidden current carries life upward toward the storm-changed sea. The Pacific Ocean now carries deep life upward toward a sea still shaken by the storm. Where the current lifts food, hidden communities begin to gather. In the darkness below the storm, light becomes both direction and memory. The slow world below remains, while the current carries another part of the Pacific upward. The higher the current rises, the more life begins to answer. The deep Pacific survives through forms that are both fragile and perfectly connected. Predators follow the same invisible road, waiting for light, movement, and opportunity. The Pacific is never still. It is a meeting place of currents moving in different directions. The deep current is now approaching the storm-shaped layers of the upper sea. From the abyss to the storm-changed sea, the Pacific Ocean is rebuilding its chain of life. The Pacific Ocean is now caught between two forces, the deep current rising and the storm current pressing down. Where currents collide, the ocean creates confusion, but also new feeding grounds. In the storm-changed sea, light becomes a way to stay together. Food rising from below begins to awaken the larger world above. The school forms where deep nourishment meets the violence of the storm. When food gathers, the open Pacific quickly remembers its hunters. The Pacific survives by breaking apart and coming together again. The storm above now reaches this layer through light, pressure, and moving shadow. This is the storm's hidden effect, not destruction alone, but a reshaping of the entire food chain.
Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the ocean is rebuilding life through motion, pressure, hunger, and light.
The Pacific Ocean is rebuilding life at the very place where opposing currents meet. Where food gathers, the ocean quickly gathers life around it. With the smallest fish survive the chaos by becoming one larger shape.
The storm may scatter the sea, but hunger knows how to follow order.
The Pacific breaks its patterns only to build them again.
The storm above reaches this world through pressure, shadow, and sudden light.
The storm creates risk, but it also brings the ocean's hidden food into reach. Every change in the current becomes a new shape for survival. This is the Pacific's hidden response to the storm, a food chain rebuilt in motion.
As the current rises toward the storm, the Pacific gathers more life into the same powerful flow. As the deep current rises, the storm-changed Pacific gathers life into one powerful moving layer.
The smallest fish answer the storm with unity. Where food gathers, the larger travelers follow with quiet precision. The Pacific keeps reshaping life, breaking one pattern and building another. The storm reaches down not as wind, but as shadow, pressure, and restless light.
The storm creates danger, but it also brings hidden food into reach. Every change in the sea becomes a new shape for survival.
But even in a storm-change ocean, some giants move with quiet grace.
The Pacific is rebuilding its food chain through collision, movement, and light. Now the storm and the deep current meet in one crowded layer, and the Pacific prepares for its most powerful movement yet. Here, the Pacific Ocean becomes a meeting point of hunger, pressure, and movement. The school survives by becoming one shape, faster than fear can divide it.
The storm does not stop the hunters. It teaches them where the current will carry food.
The storm turns the water column into a feeding ground built from chaos.
Every surge writes a new shape across the living Pacific. From above, the storm sends darkness and light in waves through the sea.
Even in the strongest movement, the great wings of the Pacific keep their calm.
The Pacific gathers its creatures into layers, each one following a different current.
The storm does not simply disturb the ocean. It rearranges life into new patterns.
Beneath the Pacific superstorm, the ocean has become a vast engine of survival.
The Pacific Ocean has become a moving engine, where every current carries hunger, shelter, and life. In the crowded sea, survival depends on moving before danger becomes visible.
The hunters do not need to rush. The storm itself gathers the ocean around them.
Food rises from the deep, and the upper sea awakens around it.
The Pacific keeps rewriting the shape of life with every surge.
Beneath the Pacific superstorm, life is not waiting for calm. It is learning to move with the storm.
The Pacific Ocean is not waiting for the storm to end. It is learning how to live inside it.
1,000 small decisions become one living shield. The hunters follow the rhythm of the current, not the chaos of the storm. The storm opens brief windows of food, and the ocean rushes to answer. Every current redraws the map, and every school becomes a moving answer. The storm controls the light, but life controls its response. In the strongest movement, some giants survive by becoming calm itself. The Pacific becomes one vast exchange of food, movement, and survival. The storm breaks the ocean apart, and the ocean builds itself again. Beneath the Pacific superstorm, survival is no longer stillness. It is the power to move with everything. The Pacific Ocean is now moving in every direction, yet life continues to find rhythm inside the force. And when pressure increases, the smallest lives answer by becoming stronger together. The hunters wait for the ocean to create opportunity. The storm has turned the water column into a crowded path of hunger and chance. The Pacific breaks one living shape into many, then gathers it back again.
At last, beneath the Pacific Ocean, the storm begins to loosen its grip. The smallest fish feel the change first, spreading back into the sea as pressure begins to ease.
As the storm weakens, hunger no longer gathers every creature into the same narrow path.
The sea does not become still at once. It returns to balance, one movement at a time.
Above, the storm is passing. Below, the Pacific begins to remember its light. The great wings of the Pacific move through the fading storm, as if guiding the sea back toward calm. After the strongest movement, the Pacific does not empty. It reorganizes. Clarity returns not as silence, but as a new order moving through the water. The open Pacific begins sending life back toward the shelters that endured the storm. The storm has not vanished completely, but the Pacific Ocean is already beginning its recovery. The Pacific Ocean begins guiding life back toward the shelters that survived below. The reef receives the returning fish, and the ocean begins to feel familiar again. The smallest survivors return first, testing the water one cautious movement at a time.
The reef did not escape the storm, but it held on long enough for balance to return.
On the seafloor, the smallest homes are rebuilt, grain by grain. The same shelters that protected life now become doorways back into the open reef. The Pacific Ocean does not return to peace all at once. It softens one current at a time. Those that waited in darkness begin to move again as the reef opens. Even after the storm, the reef keeps its old boundaries between caution and hunger.
The Pacific Ocean is still changing, but the reef has begun to breathe again.
The Pacific Ocean begins to reveal what the storm could not take away. Fear loosens slowly, and the smallest fish begin to reclaim the reef. Every surface of the reef begins working again in the returning calm.
After the storm, even the seafloor begins rebuilding its small doorways.
Shelters become pathways again when the Pacific begins to calm.
The light returns softly, and with it, the reef remembers its rhythm.
Those who endured in stillness now return to movement.
The open sea and the reef begin reconnecting after the storm.
The Pacific Ocean is still moving, but the violence has begun to leave the light.
After the superstorm, the Pacific does not begin again from nothing. It continues from everything that survived.
Everything that survived the storm now becomes part of the Pacific Ocean's recovery. The smallest fish return to the reef slowly, carrying the first signs of calm. The reef begins working again through thousands of quiet movements. Even the smallest homes beneath the sea are rebuilt with patience. The shelters of the storm now become pathways back into the open reef.
Life that waited in darkness now moves again through returning light.
The reef and the open Pacific begin sharing life again.
The storm has passed through the light, leaving the ocean clearer than before. Recovery is not silence. It is the return of every rhythm that belongs to the sea.
Beneath the Pacific Ocean, the storm has become memory, and life continues forward. The Pacific Ocean does not forget the storm, but it has already begun moving beyond it. The smallest lives return first, trusting the reef one movement at a time.
Every small movement shows that the reef is alive again. After the storm, even the sand remembers how to hold life. The shelters that protected life now open back into the sea.
Those that endured in darkness now return to the colors of the reef.
The reef and the open Pacific begin sharing the same calm current again. The storm has passed through the light, and the Pacific begins to shine again.
Recovery is not a single moment. It is the return of every rhythm that belongs to the ocean.
Beneath the Pacific Ocean, the storm has ended its strongest chapter, but life continues writing the next one. The Pacific Ocean continues forward, carrying the memory of the storm inside a calmer sea.
The smallest survivors now move with a new confidence across the reef.
The reef recovers through thousands of quiet actions too small to see from above. Even the seafloor begins to rebuild its order after the storm. The places that once held fear now become pathways back into life. The reef's hidden survivors return to motion as the Pacific light comes back. The reef and the open Pacific begin to breathe together again.
The violence has left the light, but the light still remembers the storm.
The Pacific Ocean heals through rhythm, not stillness. After the Pacific superstorm, life does not simply survive, it begins to spread again.
After the storm, the Pacific Ocean begins to widen again,
giving life room to move. The reef's smallest workers return quietly, repairing the world without sound.
Every hidden corner begins to work again as the Pacific settles. The storm changed the sand, but life has already begun writing new paths across it.
Food still moves through the water, but now the sea carries it with softness. Those that waded through darkness now return to color, motion, and choice. The reef and the open Pacific reconnect through every returning school. The sky above has calmed, and the Pacific begins to glow from within. The Pacific Ocean recovers not by standing still, but by restoring every living rhythm. The storm has passed, but the Pacific Ocean carries its lesson forward in every current. The Pacific Ocean carries the memory of the storm, but life now moves with calm purpose. What once became shelter now becomes a place of movement again. The reef returns through thousands of quiet acts of survival. Even the smallest homes beneath the sea are part of the ocean's recovery. The same currents that once brought pressure now carry food and light. The hidden survivors return not with haste, but with the careful rhythm of the reef. The reef and the open Pacific share one calm current again. The storm has left the surface, and the sea below begins to shine again. Recovery is the ocean, remembering every rhythm that kept it alive. The Pacific Ocean has endured the superstorm, and now every current carries life forward. After the storm, the Pacific Ocean does not pause. It carries life onward through every gentle current. The reef's recovery begins in small movements, repeated thousands of times. What held firm beneath pressure now becomes part of the ocean's renewal. Even the smallest doorway beneath the sea becomes a sign that life has continued. The same ocean that brought danger now carries food, light, and renewal. The hidden survivors return to the open reef, carrying the memory of stillness into motion. The reef and the open Pacific reconnect through movement shared by every returning school. The light that returns after the storm feels deeper because the sea has endured darkness. The Pacific Ocean heals by returning each life to its place within the whole. The superstorm has passed, but the Pacific Ocean remains alive, connected, and endlessly moving forward. The Pacific Ocean moves forward, not by forgetting the storm, but by carrying life beyond it. The reef's smallest lives return quietly, and their movement becomes the first sign of renewal.
Every hidden corner that endured the storm now helps rebuild the whole reef. Even the smallest shelter beneath the sea becomes proof that life has continued. The same current that once carried pressure now carries food, light, and recovery. Those that survived by hiding now return to color, movement, and choice. The reef and the open Pacific reconnect through every returning path of life. The Pacific light returns softer now, carrying the memory of everything the sea endured.
The Pacific Ocean heals by placing every surviving life back into motion. The storm has passed through the Pacific Ocean, but life beneath the sea has answered with endurance. The Pacific Ocean has endured the storm, and beneath the sea, life has answered with resilience. Every small survivor becomes part of the reef's recovery. Even the smallest homes beneath the Pacific are part of the ocean's renewal. The current that once carried danger now carries food, light, and life forward. Those that survived in hiding now return to color, motion, and the open reef. The reef and the open Pacific are connected again by every returning path of life. Above the Pacific, the storm has passed. Below it, the sea continues breathing. The Pacific Ocean heals not by becoming still, but by restoring every rhythm that belongs to life. From the storm above to the abyss below, every part of the Pacific has carried this story of survival. The superstorm has ended, but the Pacific Ocean remains alive, ancient, connected, and endlessly moving forward.
Around every giant, smaller lives find shelter, direction, and rhythm. Above the endless ocean, the greatest lives of the sea begin to reveal a hidden world below. The first wonder of the sea is scale, a silent giant moving beneath a world of light.
Now the journey leaves the sky behind and follows life into the sea. Beneath the surface, the ocean becomes a cathedral of blue light, motion, and life. Every movement from the largest life in the ocean sends a quiet rhythm through the sea. From below, the ocean reveals its true scale, where giants move like shadows of another world. The giant leads us away from the surface and toward the hidden colors of the sea. As the giants fade into the blue, the reef begins to rise like a living city beneath the ocean.
The sea paints with motion, and every fish becomes part of the living color. An ancient traveler crosses the reef, carrying the quiet memory of the sea.
Every path through the ocean is shaped by patience, current, and light. The reef is not still scenery. It is an ocean city constantly at work. Even the sand beneath the sea is filled with quiet signs of life. Together, small lives create patterns that make the ocean feel endless. Inside the school, the sea becomes pure motion, carrying us deeper into the reef. The school becomes a pathway, leading us farther into the ocean's hidden architecture. Every tower of coral is a crowded ocean neighborhood, built by life over time. Color here is not decoration, it is the language of the reef. The reef holds secret spaces where the ocean slows down and becomes quiet. The ocean survives through small relationships that happen far from the surface. What looks like one wall is really thousands of lives holding the reef together. From every hidden corner, the reef opens again toward the wider sea. Beyond the reef wall, the ocean brings back the grace of a larger world. Some creatures seem to fly through the sea, turning the ocean itself into sky. The reef has shown its colors, but the open ocean is still calling us forward.
The reef begins to fall away, and the wider ocean invites us into deeper blue.
At this edge, the ocean changes mood without losing its beauty.
Small fish become one living shape, turning the sea into motion.
And inside the school, the ocean feels endless, alive, and perfectly connected.
Beyond the reef, another gentle giant rises from the blue.
The ocean's largest travelers move with a silence that makes the sea feel sacred.
Around every giant, smaller lives find shelter, direction, and rhythm.
From below, the sea turns a living giant into a moving constellation.
The giant fades into the blue, but its path leads us back toward the living reef. From open blue back to coral color, the ocean keeps unfolding one world into another. The ocean has brought us back to the reef, where color becomes the next great discovery.
Every opening in the coral leads to another chamber of life. The reef is not a single place, but a maze of living rooms beneath the sea.
Among the colors, ancient travelers pause as if the ocean itself is breathing.
The deeper we look, the more the ocean fills every space with life.
Small lives gather into great movement, and the sea becomes a living pattern. Here, the ocean becomes a theater of color, scale, and silent motion. Everything in the reef is connected by currents too soft for the eye to measure. From sky to surface, from surface to reef, the ocean has opened the door to its hidden kingdom. Ahead lies the coral kingdom, where the ocean's colors will become even more alive. The first chapter does not end with discovery. It opens wider into the living colors of the sea.
Every wall of coral becomes a doorway, and every doorway leads deeper into the ocean's design.
Beneath the moving colors, the ocean floor holds quieter lives that keep the reef alive. The sea gathers small lives into shapes that feel larger than the reef itself.
Inside the school, the ocean becomes a river made entirely of life.
Ancient travelers pass through the reef as if they know every current by memory.
The reef, the giants, and the open sea are never separate. They are one moving world. From the smallest cleaner to the largest shadow, the ocean builds wonder in layers.
A single coral tower can feel like a whole ocean when every surface is alive. The ocean has shown us its entrance, and now the coral kingdom is ready to reveal its full brilliance. The coral kingdom opens wider, and the ocean turns color into living motion.
Every bright surface of the sea hides a smaller world working quietly beneath it.
The deeper we follow one small life, the larger the ocean becomes. In the calmest spaces of the sea, ancient travelers move as if time itself has slowed.
Life does not simply pass through the reef. It shapes the ocean with every movement.
When thousands move as one, the sea becomes a single breathing shape. The ocean connects tiny sparks of life with giants moving silently above. Even beneath the brightest reef, the seafloor holds its own quiet choreography. The ocean keeps lifting us from detail into wonder, from one hidden life into thousands more. The first chapter has opened the door, but the brightest heart of the ocean is still ahead.
The ocean draws us deeper, where every color seems to lead toward another hidden world.
Continuing through the gateway, we observe the stunning bioluminescence of the coral pillar, teeming with life as the silver spratfish.
The reef hides its wonders in chambers, and each chamber opens like a secret beneath the sea. Even the quiet floor of the ocean is filled with movement, patience, and design. From the sea floor to the open water, the ocean is always rising into motion. Through the living cloud, an ancient traveler appears again, carrying the calm rhythm of the reef.
The reef, the turtle, and the open sea move together as one long breath.
Every layer of the ocean leads the eye forward, from small color to giant shadow. This living amphitheater is only the beginning of the ocean's deeper brilliance. Ahead, the ocean's coral kingdom waits in full color, ready to pull us even deeper. The ocean pulls us deeper, where color gathers into a living cathedral beneath the sea.
From far away it looks like beauty, but up close the ocean becomes endless work.
Every passage beneath the sea feels designed to lead the eye toward another wonder. The reef does not reveal everything at once. The ocean opens it layer by layer. An ancient traveler crosses the chamber, carrying the patience of the sea through the reef. The ocean's calmest moments are filled with lives that never stop moving. When thousands move together, the sea becomes a single, shimmering breath. Above the reef, the ocean gives space to giants, while the colors continue below. The ocean keeps moving between grand scale and hidden detail, never losing its rhythm.
The first chapter keeps widening, and the ocean's brightest kingdom is still waiting ahead.
The ocean's brightest kingdom begins to rise ahead, pulling every current toward color. From a distance, the reef is breathtaking. Up close, the sea becomes infinite. One small fish can lead us into a chamber the ocean has kept hidden. Beneath the coral colors, the ocean floor carries its own quiet life. The sea lifts the smallest lives upward until they become a shining cloud. Through the living cloud, an ancient traveler returns, slow and steady in the ocean light. The turtle moves between the reef and the open sea as if both are one breath. Every layer of the ocean leads forward, from tiny color to giant shadow. This living amphitheater is only the entrance to the ocean's deeper brilliance. Ahead, the ocean's coral kingdom waits in full brilliance, ready to carry us into the next chapter. The first doorway has opened, and the ocean now leads us toward its brightest kingdom. Every color in the sea is alive, and every surface holds another hidden story. The ocean does not reveal itself all at once. It invites us deeper, one chamber at a time. Even the quiet floor of the sea is part of the reef's living heartbeat. From the smallest lives the ocean creates movement vast enough to fill the blue. Between the tiny school and the ancient traveler, the sea shows every scale of wonder. The reef carries every traveler forward, from bright shallows toward a deeper kingdom of color. The opening journey has shown us giants, reefs, and hidden life, but the heart of the ocean is still ahead. This living amphitheater is the final gate of our beginning, a bridge from wonder into full discovery. Part 1 ends at the doorway. Ahead, the ocean's coral kingdom begins to shine in its full brilliance.
Now the ocean opens its coral kingdom, where color, shelter, and life become one.
Every tower of coral is a living city built slowly beneath the sea.
The closer we move, the more the ocean turns beauty into detail.
One small fish can guide us into a chamber the sea has hidden from above. Beneath the coral colors, the ocean floor holds a quieter rhythm of life. The smallest lives gather into motion, and the sea becomes a shining current. Through the silver cloud, an ancient traveler returns to the heart of the reef. The turtle moves through the coral kingdom as if every current knows its path. Here, the reef becomes a kingdom of layers, each one alive with movement. The coral kingdom is only beginning to unfold, and the ocean still holds deeper colors ahead. Deeper inside the coral kingdom, the ocean becomes richer, brighter, and more alive. The ocean's brilliance is built by lives almost too small to see.
Each doorway in the reef reveals another secret room beneath the sea.
Even below the colors, the ocean floor continues the story in silence. The sea turns tiny bodies into one great moving light. Through motion, the ocean guides us from one living scene to the next. The reef's colors are not still. They move, feed, hide, and return. Above the coral kingdom, the ocean still carries the grace of giants. From shadow to color, the sea connects every layer of life. The coral kingdom stretches farther ahead, and the ocean's living colors are still unfolding. The ocean's colors continue to unfold, revealing a kingdom built from movement and light. The closer we look, the more the sea turns color into countless living details. One small fish can lead us deeper into the ocean's secret architecture. Beneath the bright coral, the ocean floor keeps its own quiet rhythm. The sea gathers its smallest lives into a shining cloud that moves as one.
Through motion, the ocean leads us from hidden detail into wider beauty.
Every current in the reef carries color, food, shelter, and direction. Above the reef, the ocean still makes space for giants moving in silence.
The shadow of a giant passes over thousands of smaller lives, all connected by the same sea.
The coral kingdom keeps expanding, and the ocean still has more hidden chambers to reveal. The coral kingdom leads us inward, where the ocean hides its most delicate rooms. Inside each hidden chamber, the sea becomes quieter, closer, and more alive. The ocean's smallest workers keep the kingdom shining from within. The reef guides us from one living doorway to the next. Even the quiet sand beneath the sea belongs to the living kingdom. From the floor of the ocean, life rises into motion like a cloud of light. The sea moves us from hidden detail into a wider field of color. Across the Coral Valley, the ocean brings ancient travelers back into view. The turtle carries the calm of the reef through a kingdom always in motion. The Coral Kingdom breathes through every layer, and the ocean still opens farther ahead. The Coral Kingdom has shown its layers, but the ocean is still guiding us beyond the reef. Before the reef falls behind, the sea reminds us that every detail here is alive. The final chambers of the reef glow like memories the ocean asks us to carry forward. Even at the edge of the kingdom, the ocean floor continues its quiet work. The reef sends its smallest lights upward, preparing the sea for a wider journey. Beyond the colors of the Coral Kingdom, the open sea begins to call again. The turtle follows the current from shelter toward the vast ocean beyond. The reef has been a kingdom of color, but the open ocean holds the giants of the next chapter. As the coral fades behind us, a larger shadow begins to rise from the blue.
Part 2 leaves the Coral Kingdom behind, and ahead, the open ocean reveals its gentle giants.
Before the giants fully appear, the reef sends one final wave of life into the open sea. The Coral Kingdom does not end suddenly. It fades slowly into the wider ocean. Even at the edge of the reef, the seafloor continues its quiet choreography. The reef lifts its smallest lights into the blue, as if preparing the ocean for something larger. The turtle becomes our guide from the colored reef into the calm blue distance. Behind us, color. Ahead, scale. Between them, the ocean carries every life forward. The open ocean begins to replace the reef with space, silence, and enormous grace.
At this boundary, the Coral Kingdom becomes memory, and the sea ahead becomes possibility.
The reef releases us gently, letting the current carry us toward the giants. Part 2 closes as the Coral Kingdom fades, and ahead, the open ocean prepares to reveal its gentle giants. The reef falls behind like a memory, and the ocean ahead begins to grow larger. Beyond the Coral Kingdom, the sea becomes quieter, wider, and filled with expectation. Even where the reef begins to disappear, the ocean still carries traces of its color. The small fish leave the reef in waves, carrying its rhythm into the open sea. The turtle moves between worlds, leaving color behind and entering the quiet blue. Behind us lies shelter. Ahead waits scale, silence, and the calm power of giants. The ocean opens vertically now, with life moving above, below, and far ahead. In the open sea, even distance feels alive, and every shadow carries promise. The Coral Kingdom has almost vanished, but its life continues forward through the current. The ocean has carried us from color into vastness, and the gentle giants are now waiting ahead. The ocean has left the reef behind, but every current still carries its life forward. The small fish become a bridge between the coral kingdom and the giants of the sea.
Even at the edge of the reef, the ocean leaves no life behind.
The reef disappears from sight, but its rhythm continues inside the moving school. The turtle becomes a quiet guide, moving between the memory of color and the promise of scale. In the open ocean, distance becomes part of the wonder. The ocean has become larger than the frame, and every shadow ahead feels alive. Food, light, and movement gather here, drawing the giants closer without sound. The ocean asks us to wait, because true scale is revealed slowly. The coral kingdom has given way to the open ocean, and the giants are almost ready to emerge. The reef has disappeared behind us, and now the ocean begins to reveal its quiet giants. The smaller lives lead the way, turning the open sea into a path of light. The ocean becomes quieter here, as if every current is making room for scale. The sea reveals its giants in pieces through motion, light, and patience. A gentle giant takes form in the blue, carrying the calm power of the open ocean.
The open sea is a world of layers, where giants move above, below, and beyond us.
The farther we travel from the reef, the more the ocean replaces color with wonder. The giant waits in the blue, not as a threat, but as an invitation into the next world. The coral kingdom has ended behind us, and the open ocean is ready to begin its chapter of giants. The open ocean is no longer a distant promise. It is beginning to surround us. The small fish guide us through the blue, as if they know where the giants will appear. Without the reef behind us, the sea feels larger, deeper, and filled with quiet power. The sea hides and reveals its wonders through motion, never giving everything away at once. A gentle giant forms out of the blue, carrying the silence of the open ocean. In the open sea, the largest lives move with the softest rhythm. The ocean builds its wonder in layers, from drifting plankton to giants above and below. The farther we travel, the more the sea replaces color with scale. The giant is close now, and the ocean seems to slow around its presence. Part 2 leaves us at the edge of vastness, where the gentle giants of the ocean are ready to take the story forward. The ocean has left the reef behind, but every current still carries its life forward. The small fish become a bridge between the coral kingdom and the giants of the sea. Even at the edge of the reef, the ocean leaves no life behind. The reef disappears from sight, but its rhythm continues inside the moving